Every American mother's face would turn the same color when they saw that white envelope. 18-year-old Tommy Johnson had no idea that the letter the mailman brought that morning would change his life forever. In 30 days, he'd be in Vietnam. Tommy Johnson was just an ordinary Iowa farm boy. He didn't have big dreams. Tommy's only worry was proposing to Sarah Miller. He had $50 saved up in his pocket and his grandmother's ring. But when the mailman brought that envelope that morning, all his dreams came crashing down. This isn't just Tommy's story. It's the story of 2.7 million young Americans. Maybe your father's story, your brother's, or your grandfather's. And today, I'm going to tell you the story of those heroes. That morning, Tommy was out in the field tending to the cattle. All he could think about was Sarah. Tonight he was going to propose. They'd have a small wedding and live happily ever after on the farm. Boy, was he naive. When the mailman came, Tommy's mother Mary was in the kitchen kneading dough. The door rang. This wasn't regular mail. You could tell everything from the mailman's expression. "Mrs. Johnson," the mailman said, "this is for your son." Mary's hands started shaking. That white envelope with the official seal. This was every American mother's nightmare. United States government. Those terrifying words. Mary didn't scream, but the dough fell from her hands to the floor. 25 years ago, her husband John had gotten a letter just like this. Now it was his son's turn. "Tommy!" she yelled. Her voice echoed across the entire farm. Even the cattle jumped. Tommy came running. "Mom, what's wrong? Why are you crying?" Mary didn't say a word. She just held out the envelope. Tommy's hand trembled as he took it. When he opened the paper inside, his world collapsed. "Order to report for induction. 30 days, Tommy whispered. "I only have 30 days left." Right then, his father John was coming in from the fields. When he saw the paper in Tommy's hands, he remembered that day 25 years ago. The Normandy landings, the friends he'd lost, the hell he'd lived through. "Son," he said quietly, "now you're a man." That evening at dinner, everyone was silent, but it was the kind of silence before a storm. Finally, Tommy's little sister Betty spoke up. "Where's Tommy going?" Mary couldn't take it anymore. She threw her plate. "To war. My boy's going to war." She started sobbing uncontrollably. John stood up. "Mary, pull yourself together." "I can't pull myself together," Mary screamed. "First I lived in fear of losing you. Now I have to live in fear of losing my son." Tommy had never seen a family crisis like this. His mother crying, his father angry, his little sister shaking with fear. "Enough!" Tommy yelled. Everyone stared at him in shock. "I'm going because I have to go. I'm going because I'll fight for you, to protect this family." That night, his father called him out to the barn. For the first time, they talked about war. "Tommy," John said, "war will change you, but never forget who you are. You're a Johnson. You'll come back with a strong heart." "What if I don't come back?" John looked straight into his son's eyes. "You will come back, because we love you and we're waiting for you." The next day, Tommy went to see Sarah, not to propose, to say goodbye. "Sarah, I'm leaving." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "I know, the whole town's talking about it. Will you wait for me?" Sarah was quiet for a long time. "Tommy, I don't know. It's such a long time." That answer really hurt Tommy, but it also made him stronger. Now he had very little left to lose. He met up with his friends. Johnny Martinez and Mike O'Brien had also been drafted. "We'll go together," Johnny said. "We'll come back together." "What if we don't come back?" Mike asked. "Then we'll die together," Tommy said. Strangely, this thought didn't scare him. It made him stronger. Every day, Mary cooked Tommy's favorite meals, but they weren't talking anymore. They just looked at each other. On the last night, Mary came into Tommy's room. "Son, I want to give you something." In her hands was his grandfather's war medal. "This protected me. It protected your father. Now it'll protect you." Tommy took the medal. "Mom, I'm scared." "I'm scared too, son. But we're not cowards. Johnsons are never cowards." At the military station in Des Moines, there were 200 young men, all of them scared like Tommy, all missing home. Then Drill Sergeant Williams showed up, 6.5 feet tall, a huge man. When he started yelling, it felt like the building shook. "Listen up, you maggots, you're not mommy's babies anymore. You'll become soldiers here, or you'll learn by dying." For 8 weeks, they lived through hell. 5:30 a.m. Reveille. Run, 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 weapon parts, learn it or break it. Push-ups, 100 factorial, 200 factorial more. M16 training, this rifle is your lifeline. Field training, break, destroy, kill. Tommy wasn't a farm boy anymore. The innocence in his eyes was gone. It was replaced with determination. Johnny, Mike, and Tommy had become a trio. They supported each other, protected each other, motivated each other. "Brother," Johnny said one night, "we came here as boys. We're leaving as soldiers." On his last night in Des Moines, Tommy wrote to his family, "I'm ready now. I'm not afraid, I'm just excited." 8 weeks had passed, they'd completed basic training, and now it was time for assignments. When Tommy opened his envelope, he saw just one word: Vietnam. Johnny and Mike were going to the same place, 25th Infantry Division. Before boarding the plane, they made their last phone calls. Tommy called his family. "Mom, tell Dad I'm coming back as a proud Johnson." Tommy gripped his grandfather's medal tightly. In that moment, he remembered the peaceful mornings on the Iowa farm, his mother's warm hugs, his father's strong hands, Sarah's last look, his friends' goodbyes. In 18 hours, he'd land in a completely different world, in an unknown land, in a war he'd never known. But Tommy wasn't alone anymore. Johnny and Mike were with him, and in his heart, his family's love, his grandfather's legacy. As the plane glided through the clouds, Tommy closed his eyes. It all started with that white envelope. Now nobody knew where it would lead. But one thing was certain. Tommy Johnson would never be the same again. None of them would. In just 30 days, a simple farm boy had become part of something much bigger than himself. Part of history. Part of a generation that would carry the weight of a war, the hopes of a nation, and the love of families who waited back home. These stories must not be forgotten. Don't forget to subscribe, because Tommy's story is just beginning. Write in the comments, if you were in Tommy's place, what would you have been thinking on that plane?